Hi everyone, I'm Swati from Indiahikes. If you've trekked with Indiahikes, you probably know that Indiahikes is more and more present in central India. So you have seen that we have opened the Chhattisgarh jungle trek a few years ago, followed by the Odisha Debrigarh sanctuary trek, and then came the Pench Mowgli trek in Madhya Pradesh, and we soon have another one around the corner, and I'll not reveal too much about that. But it's pretty clear now that we are loving trekking in central India, and it's not just us, it's also our trekkers. All of them come back smashed with the experience, and there are many reasons for it. It's not just the forests. To discuss that with us, today I have Nitesh Kumar. He is the Chief Explorer of Indiahikes. Most people think he has a dream job because he's exploring treks all around the country. But he has played a very integral role in actually exploring all of these treks that we're talking about and designing them, where trekkers camp, where they trek, how much they trek, and what all trekkers experience in each trek. So he's done this not only in central India but several other parts of our country, which makes him one of our most experienced explorers, documenters and trek designers. So when he talks, we really listen. Thanks Nitesh for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you, Swati. I think I'm feeling super happy, super excited to share this space with you and to speak about one of my favorite region. Over a past few, last 2-3 years, it has completely changed my perspective from trekking extensively in Himalayas and now feeling like a lost Mowgli who have found its central India.
That's such a wonderful way to put it. So I want to ask you, Nitesh, we've been trekking in the Himalayas for longer than we can remember. And from there, we could have gone anywhere. We could have gone Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Northeast, anywhere. So what made Indiahikes choose this central India as a focus area where we wanted to bring out treks?
Yeah, I would say the story goes back in 2017-18. We hadn't kind of, firmly thought of, starting a trek in the central India, but it was 2017-18 when our founder, Arjun sir, he himself, our co-founder, Sandhya ma'am, they themselves went to Chhattisgarh, where it was an invitation from the Chhattisgarh tourism and the government over there to initiate the trekking in the state of Chhattisgarh, and that was the very first step or the seed to what we see today. But it has a beautiful story as well, because most of the time, and from the beginning, I keep hearing from Arjun sir that how it actually began and how he went and the whole Chhattisgarh tourism and the government laid out the map to Arjun sir, telling के अभी आप बताइए आपको ट्रैक कहाँ करना है. And Arjun sir was like clueless के you're giving me like an ocean and how could we like figure where to go, initially start with. So it started with them showing us a lot of touristic places, that this is the viewpoint, ये यहाँ पे tower बना हुआ है and all these things, and he understood that this is not the way what we want to see trekking in the central India or Chhattisgarh. And that's where the very first initial designing started happening, that he started going much deeper into the jungles of Amarkantak. And from there, then coming to the Guru Ghasidas National Park.
So from what I remember, there was a lot of exploration, uske baad re-exploration. You were involved. I remember so many other people involved. So what actually happened, and what goes into looking for the correct trek design? Because I know for sure that what we do as the Chhattisgarh jungle trek today was not what it is right now when we started. So how has that evolved?
I think when you told Chhattisgarh jungle trek, it just take me to that love, my first love for central India. It's like the baby for me, and it was in 2021 when I first ever went there to Chhattisgarh, and it was Guru Gasias National Park. And like you told, the designing and how we actually look into every trek is very detailed, like very thought, that how we design a trek. And even at that time in 2021 we had a trek route in Chhattisgarh jungle trek in the Guru Gasias National Park, which starts from at point A and point B, point C and point D. It was the usual route we were following from the last 2 years. But I would say everything happened to be like a destined, that I reached in Ramgarh. That's the base camp of Chhattisgarh jungle trek. I reached Ramgarh. I was supposed to lead the group which was in the next week. So I had my fellow trek leader who was about to lead his the last group, and he was about to leave from there, and further from there I was continuing. So I reached there, and that evening, and on the same evening, we get a call from the director of the national park. Okay, listen, we have the elephants moving or kind of entering into our national park, and they are actually been spotted on our trail, the trekking trail. And they have been spotted not just 1, 2, they were in like around 8, 9. So it was like one single whole family with the little ones as well, with the mothers. So it was pretty scary, because elephants, to tell, like elephants are the one of the most dangerous animal to encounter in the jungle, rather than all the big cats, I would say. So they were present over there, and we had no clue when they will move, which direction also they would move. So now we were like asked us to not go in that direction, and now we had an option: either we call off the trek, so and so thing, or we do the trek in a reverse way, like it's a circle. We start from Ramgarh, and the last day we do it on the day 1, day 2, and expecting the day 4 trek elephant would have moved out. I think that would have been the most obvious thought for us to do, because group is just coming on the day after tomorrow. And I just reached over there at that time, and I was like really, I would say the moment I reached Ramgarh, the drive and the jungles, the 1400 square kilometer jungle, I was in love, and I felt like this just can't be the trail. There can be more things out there, and more new possibilities. And I started discussing with the guards, forest guards, deputy rangers, that what different can we do? If we don't go on this trek, what is a new trek we can kind of put in over here, and what is the big highlight element? And most of them, I would frankly say most of the staff, forest staff works, are not much aware of outside their boundaries, outside their beat or range. And that's where a lot of the local guards who have been working there for years comes into a big help. And I started conversing and figuring out which could be a great place. And the very first spot which he told and which he loved was the Gopat river. Yes, I know we all are just right now go gaga about the river walk, and this was the birth where he told there is a Gopat river, it's a beautiful place to camp. And he took me from I don't know kahan se, bike splendor mein betha ke, on the ups and downs, on the humps of the rocks. He took me interior to that Gopat river, the camping spot, and I was in love with that place. I was like, beautiful. This is that place, like I would want to spend 3-4 days, like a Goa camping, a shallow river, crystal clear river, no pebbles or rocks, just the smooth river flowing. And I had, although we switched the campsite with a better place, and I was like, okay, now we can walk on this river as well. It is not just camping. We can walk on the river, because I could see in the map that is leading to one village outside. And on the other side, I could see there is Tediaban Lake, which we used to camp as well. And then there is a big hill in between. And all these things were happening just a day before when the trekkers were about to arrive. And when they are, then next day, like the same day, went to Tediaban, looking that mountain rock, how we can, traverse the trail. Came back to the base camp. The next day when the trekkers were coming, on the same day also I was like exploring a new trail for them to go, because I had stitched the day 4, day 3 and day 2 trek. Day 1 is the remaining one. And I was like, if I stitch this, the picture is there. Like, the perfect picture, perfect trek, the blockbuster trek is there. But I just need to connect the day 1 anyhow. And I was doing the trek in reverse from point B to point A, so that when I come back, I could tell the trekkers, the team, that there is no network over there. So I can tell them that you can go on the trek rather than going there and coming back. So trekked all the route and just praying that this just happen. And it's just not just connected. I discovered some of the most beautiful caves as well.
Oh, this cave section is there.
Yeah, the day 1. And it's a tunnel cave. And I was like, wow. I was imagining that could be the blockbuster. I was like getting a lot more surprise on the day 1. And as soon as I reached, I gave Arif the KML file, the GPX file, that here you go. They were waiting for me, that I come and give the GPX file. I gave them the GPX file and then they continued on the trek. So I think this just happened in the 2 days, the whole, changing the route part. And I would say that just after this trek got over, all the 15 trekkers who had come, they got like stunned with the trek. बहुत experienced trekkers थे उनके अंदर. People have done multiple treks with Indiahikes and lot of Himalayan treks. But they came and they said that, Nitesh, I think this is one of the best trek I did in my life. And when they told that, I was like, wow, this is really, speaks a lot. And post that, elephant left as usual after that. But thanks to the elephant, we didn't go again back to the old route. We continued the new route what we kind of came across, and that is the today's trek what we have, the Chhattisgarh jungle trek.
Wow. So a huge thanks to that herd of elephants for where trekkers are going today. But you've already told me so much about, you've given me a very nice peek into central India. I've not been there, but I'm getting a very nice picture of course, this river walk, the forests, the proximity of wildlife. If you're telling me there are elephants, of course, big cats will come to that. But already I can see so many elements that we don't usually see anywhere else on a trek. So now coming to this river walk, I am aware that there's a very similar river walk on the Pench Mowgli trek. Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about that river walk?
So I somewhere thought ऐसा river walk आ ही नहीं सकता, like nowhere in the world a river walk on a trek can come 5 kilometers bare feet. You just walk, and that Gopad is also the origin where it goes to the river Ganga, this thing. And now after like around 2.5 years, like today when this year when I went to Pench for yet another exploration, and here I would really was happy to see so much of excitement and the energy from the Pench Forest Department team and the MP Tourism Department for continuously supporting us, although we didn't have a big success in Madhya Pradesh, to tell you. Yeah,
can you tell us that backstory? Because I know we have explored trails in Madhya Pradesh before. We've not brought anything out. So I can tell our viewers that Nitesh has explored almost 8 different trails in central India, and most of them we've not brought out. What you see is maybe 3-4 treks right now. So what happened on the other treks? Why haven't we opened them? If you can give us a gist.
the relation with MP tourism has been much older, like what we have in Chhattisgarh. We had multiple attempts. We had, explored and brought a treks in Sanjay Dubri National Park, which is in MP. After that, we explored in Satpura as well, Satpura Tiger Reserve over there. Here in Sanjay Dubri, we had opened a group as well. We had a pilot group. And like I told, like how we have at Indiahikes, each trek is very thoughtfully designed. Just not along with the exploration. It's beautifully designed as well to bring a lot of elements on a trek. And some way or the other, Swati, it's very hard to find all the different elements in one single trek. All the trek is beautiful, the region is beautiful, no second thought about that. But when we go and when we don't find different elements in every different days of the trek, it doesn't live up to that expectation that, okay, you would want to go all the way there and, trek for 3-4 days.
You
That's
can't
what.
have just forests every day, just open land every day.
Correct, true.
Because we have trekkers coming from Bombay, Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi. It has to be worth it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what happened with Sanjay Dubri. A lot of different elements were missing. The experience was not to the level of Indiahikes what we would want over there. But we still brought it up to the trekking community. We have documented the trek. Similarly, when we went to Satpura, I loved absolutely over there. But even over there, we couldn't open it for the trekkers. The same limitation for us. But yet it is yet documented. Put it out for the trekkers over there. And then the third thing that came was the Pench region. And I was like, for me, when I started that, it was like the lost Mowgli found in central India. I was constantly waiting when we will actually go and trek in the real Mowgli's land. And that's the Shivni district of Madhya Pradesh, where Rudyard Kipling had, imagined the whole Jungle Book, the characters. He had lived there in the Pench jungles and brought out to the whole world. And I was like, this is the place where I'm going. I'm so excited. The day I went there, beautiful forest, all majestic, elements just coming into play, much denser. Because this is a dense tropical forest, what we have in Pench. And not just that, here, whole my myth or my all the things went wrong when I said that I can't have another river walk on a trek. But here, along with all the different elements of Pench, here comes the Bavanthadi river. My God, I just fell in love. And this was a time when the river was not flowing. I was just walking on the dry river bed just after summers, because I was in the late summers when I was exploring there. It was a dry river bed, but to just walk in that river bed felt like, wow, what an element, because it's like a wide river bed, dense jungle all around, and it has a canopy. It has a full tree canopy. It's like a tunnel. We riverbed tunnel with the tree canopy, which was very different in Chhattisgarh. You've seen the picture, and
it's more open.
It's open, yeah. It's like hot sun and cold water. You're walking. Yeah, that's also a different experience. But here it's altogether different experience. And when I was walking, I was imagining that once the monsoon comes, river is flowing. It's going to be magical. I don't know how much the water level would be. Will it be walkable or not? But I went with that gut feeling that this is the trail which we can't ignore. And when we opened the pilot group and the later groups of Pench Mowgli trek, the water was perfect. It was not ankle deep as the Chhattisgarh. Here it was knee deep. It was knee deep, walking with the flow of the water. My God, that experience, now when I was telling you it's a dry riverbed with a canopy, here I was walking with the water with the canopy of jungle.
My goodness, sounds too good to be true. It's almost like I opened that fairy tale book and that's what I'm seeing.
Yes.
So I mean, so there we have two river walks. So there is obviously a lot of river systems going on in this region, and that also gives rise to these reservoirs, backwaters, and that kind of. Now I'm going to move a little bit to Orissa, because over there you've discovered yet another gorgeous trek, which is on the backwaters of the Hirakud Dam. So tell us about that.
Hirakud, or the Debrigarh Wildlife Sanctuary, in itself is a very well-known compared to the Chhattisgarh, which is the closer one to this. People go there. People from West Bengal all across the country go for the safari to the Debrigarh Wildlife Sanctuary, and it's comparatively a little smaller in square kilometers to the the other two national parks or the tiger reserve where I had gone. So I had a few assumptions in my head, few idea when I was going there. Okay, it's going to be a safari. It's going to be a little touristic than the others. But what could it offer for a trek? How can we bring a beautiful trek over there? The day I went, I discovered on that day only. I'm very bad. I should have known this, but Hirakud is the world's largest earthen dam. And I knew Hirakud Dam, but I didn't know it's the world's largest Hirakud Dam. But when I was driving from Sambalpur, when I was picked from the forest department of Debrigarh, I was driving in the morning, early in the morning from Sambalpur. I was driving. I reached the Hirakud Dam, and here we have a dike. It's like the whole road which is like on the gates, and you see the dam. And when I was driving, I was seeing the expanse of the Mahanadi river. It's huge. I think I read somewhere after that it is the whole the drain of that Mahanadi river on the Hirakud Dam is around 244,000 square kilometer.
What are you saying?
Yes. It's huge. It's like you can't see the end of the water. It's like a horizon after that.
It's like the ocean.
It's like the ocean. And in the morning I was just driving with sky turning into pink and the sun just rising from the Hirakud Dam. My God, the drive just to reach, and I could see in a distance the hillocks of the Hirakud Wildlife Sanctuary, the grassland along the backwaters of Hirakud, and I could see the tiny islands as well, which I'll come. Why I was so excited to see the tiny islands, and reached there, and I saw not just the safari part. Yes, I went on the jungle safari to explore the routes. I saw beautiful wildlife over there. Not the predators, but a lot of herbivorous wildlife over there, just thriving, just because of the backwater, Hirakud Dam, and the river system, and the grassland what it offers. Huge. Like I was like, here, if we can't bring a trek out here, or trekkers don't trek here, I don't know what they are missing. Such rich flora and fauna over here, and the trek, yes, the 2 days of trek in the hillocks in the Debrigarh Wildlife Sanctuary was exciting, but here comes the other, the third day, which I was bit like 50-50. Should we go or not? And I remember Ansu ma'am, DFO of the Debrigarh Wildlife Sanctuary. She told like, Nitesh, I trust Indiahikes. What you want, you tell. We will make everything possible. You go as wild as possible. Because I am also a very wild in nature. I take a lot of bold steps.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. So Ansu ma'am gave me that full green signal, that the level of trust for Indiahikes, and I was like, Ansu ma'am, can we go and camp in that huge cattle island? Can we have a 1 day of trek and camp on that island? And she was like, please go ahead. I think I have a full trust on Indiahikes about the safety, about also the experience, and also the sustainable part as well. And the green signal was given like around 15 kilometers, just the boat drive to reach the cattle island. Our trekkers also camped there. That also was an experience. But altogether, I think that it's such a different experience what we have brought in the Odisha Debrigarh trek. I think it's really again a very different league from the Chhattisgarh jungle trek, Pench Mowgli trek, and the Odisha.
Yeah, so from what you're telling me, all these treks, although we are classifying them as Central Indian treks, they are worlds apart from each other. Is that correct? Like there's very little similarity?
Yes, very different, Swati.
Even the forests and everything.
Yeah, it is different. And because I also had I come from South India, and although I've lived a lot of years in the Himalayas, even when I thought about Himalayas, I always thought Himalaya तो एक जैसा ही होगा, भले एक पहाड़ पे चढ़ूँ, दूसरा पहाड़ भी same ही होगा. What different it's going to be, but it's parts different from state to state or region to region itself in the state. Here also had a same assumption. Maybe Central India एक जैसा ही है, maybe जो फ्लाइट से देखते हैं जंगल पूरा ऊपर से जंगल 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 ही दिखता है. I didn't know there can be so much of elements also in that, but it was a lot of studies after that. I discovered that how the Central India has such a different range, like the Satpura range, the Vindhyachal range, the Chota Nagpur plateau, the soil properties, everything so different. Like the Chhattisgarh jungle trek falls under the Chota Nagpur plateau. Chota Nagpur plateau is very different, predominantly dominated by sal forest, completely a red soil over there, a see-through forest over there. Coming to the Pench Mowgli trek, it's a part of the Satpura hills, Satpura mountain range, which is far more moist, dense tropical, which is Chhattisgarh is a dry, a tropical deciduous forest. This is a dense, moist deciduous forest in the Pench Mowgli trek what we have. Now again coming to our Debrigarh, Odisha Debrigarh trek, which is completely out of all this region, but it falls under the Mahanadi basin over here, and it again the vegetation, the wildlife, everything is much different to all other different treks.
So it's not like if you've done one, you can think that I've trekked it.
No. If you like, it's like a series. Now, if you've come to Central India, if you're just seeing one trek, you don't know Central India. That means you have not discovered Central India until you see other Central India as well.
I want to tell our trekkers here that if you're looking for information about any of the treks that Nitesh has been mentioning, I've put all of them down in PDFs below. So you'll find a few separate PDFs if you want to download information about them and plan them out. I'm going to move on to a few more interesting topics about Central India, which a lot of our trekkers ask us about, like the presence of wildlife, what to do if we encounter them. And I also want to know about, a lot of people ask about Naxalites in some of these regions. So I'm going to be talking to Nitesh about that, so let's carry on. So Nitesh, yes, you've been talking to us about the jungles, elephant herds, you told us about big cats. So what happens if we encounter wildlife? I know there are some trekkers who would love to, but many trekkers who wouldn't love to. And I know that safety matters to us more than anything. So how do we look at this wildlife encounters?
Yes, Swati, at Indiahikes, for us the safety is the topmost priority. No matter which trek we do, and it's not just about the mountain hazards. It's also the the animals that can be a threat to our safety. And when we are trekking the Central India, I guess everyone will have the first question that will be ringing in the head: Janwar, the animals over there. And like Swati, every group, there will be at least 1-2 trekkers in the group who will say, "Kya humko जानवर दिखेगा? Can we see tigers or this thing on the trek?" And I would only say that I hope you don't see them on the trek. And we have purposely choose a trek or design a trek such that we don't have any sort of encounters of animals. And our idea is never to spot animals. We are embracing or enjoying the different elements of this trek over there. But to tell you, yes, wildlife is present over here. No matter which national park or tiger reserve you speak, wildlife is present over there. And to talk about tigers, that's what comes in our head. Tigers are predominantly only present in our Pench, where we are running our trek over there. And the day 2, when I was there in Pench, having a conversation with our deputy director of the Pench Tiger Reserve, Rajni sir, I asked him, okay, Rajni sir, wouldn't be like unsafe for our trekkers to go there if there are tigers? Like when you told that there are too many number of tigers, although we are trekking in the buffer part of the Pench Tiger Reserve, there are still tigers. Isn't unsafe? And he told me, Nitesh, you please don't worry about the safety. I know you at Indiahikes, you will take care 200% more of safety. But here, with terms of the tigers, the wildlife, it's absolutely safe, and I could guarantee for you. And he told that my forest staff, go day and night, walk in this tiger reserve, walk and do a patrolling over there. Just two people just walking in and doing a patrolling, and never had happened that they have been got attacked by a tiger just like that. And even we had like around 5 groups of Pench Pench Mowgli trek. This year we had a pilot group, and then we had 4 beautiful groups. And in one of the group, the trekkers did see a tiger from a very safe at a long distance over there. But yes, they saw, but it was just like any other a fauna in the jungle. We just saw, and the tiger themselves just moved away from the direction. And because the forest department team, the forest guides are there completely with us, and they constantly tell us how things to be taken if something like this, all these things happen. Else they're very, to tell you, there are very, very least chances for you to discover any animals over there.
So on the flip side, there are a lot of, or maybe some trekkers who often say that, this is a national park, or this is where a lot of wild animals live. Why are we getting into their territory? Why don't we leave them alone? Aren't we causing them harm? So how do you respond to something like that?
True. There are, people or even trekkers before coming on this trek would feel, or could be on the other side, ke it's a tiger reserve, national park. Unko, let us leave on them. उनको अपने ही हाल में छोड़ देते हैं. हम क्यों वहाँ पे जाके disturbance create करें वहाँ पे? A lot of these thoughts are there in few people, and it's not wrong. I wouldn't say it's not wrong in them, but they're not seeing this other side of what actually happens in the national park or the tiger reserve, in the jungles over there, and how unsustainable way of other tourism things could take up and could break the whole ecosystem over there. Whereas trekking is the most sustainable way for them to bring the tourism ahead. I'll give an example. In any of the national park, tiger reserve, or anything, the biggest fight for the forest department, because they work day and night to conserve their forests. They are very passionate people. And you should think, if forest department are pushing us to bring trekking, why would they do? They are not getting any profit from that. They don't have any monetary benefit of this thing. So it's purely because they want to stop the encroachment.
Explain.
Encroachment is a very a forest term used where because of certain human activities around the the outskirts of the village, start getting dependent more on the jungle, more and more. And when it happens, the forest keeps dying. And it has happened at times. Whatever you see, the tribe village, or the jungle village, whichever are there, earlier the population was less. Few families just staying and like sustainably thriving in that environment is good. But after that, at the point it has reached that the families expands, it increase, the necessity increase, the necessity from the forest also needs from the forest also increase from there, and a lot of the encroachment about resource, about plots, about land, agriculture, everything expands, and the jungle dies. And it has happened, Swati. There was this beautiful documentary I just saw from the Pench forest department, and I was so amazed how they had kind of 15-20 years back, they kind of got one of the whole forest which was not part of the tiger reserve, Pench, and they declared that as a part of their tiger reserve and as a buffer zone, when they realized the forest got thinner due to a lot of encroachment over there. And after it's kind of got stopped, after 15-20 years, the jungle has just flourished. And because as a trekker and as a trekking, if things grows over there and we are not harming anything, we say we're not allowed to pluck anything from the forest, not disturb anything over there, and we're just embracing the forest over there. And because of the trekking, a lot of awareness is created around the outskirts of the village. A lot of employments also get generated for them, for better livelihoods over there. And a fear also comes in their head that there is a constant people who are roaming in the jungle if you're trying to do any illegal things over there. So they really want to promote, in that. It's one of the reason. And obviously it also brings a limelight to that tiger reserve or the national park to get more revenue, or to get more limelight from the government, from the state or the central. Like I would say, Guru Ghasidas National Park, कितने लोगों ने सुना है? Very few. Very few people know outside Chhattisgarh about this national park. And you think if people are not at all going there, there is no any sort of tourism activity or trekking, I would say, not happening over there. Why would the center or the state give that extra effort for this particular thing? The moment it gets the the popularity and this thing, it gets better. And that's what happened with Pench also. You see, Pench is doing so much of good work.
Yeah, so many people know about Pench also.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many people go and go to that place for safari at least? Yeah. Just understand, people should understand that it works on the other side. It has a beautiful other side where Pench has become like a role model for all other.
I remember you telling us about that highway which is soundproofed and doesn't allow sound to go harm the animals. Yeah. So I guess if a national park or a forest gets better known, then a lot more income and funding comes in and it gets better, more attention.
Yes, that's very true, Swati.
I think on slightly different lines, when we opened up the Chhattisgarh jungle trek, a lot of trekkers asked us about the presence of Naxalite activities over there. So what about that? What is your response to them?
Still have, people still think Chhattisgarh matlab ki Naxal.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
When we opened up the trek.
Yeah. अभी भी लोगों को लगता है that when we land down at Raipur airport, Naxal will get their guns और पकड़ के ले जाएंगे उनको. It's still the notion still runs around the head. But yes, there are few still few Naxal activities are going around in the state, but it has come down drastically, hugely, with the beautiful work by the whole state over there. And to tell you where also the few things also happens in the southern part of the Chhattisgarh.
In a few small pockets.
Yes. Few, I don't want to name, but just few southern pockets where still there, which I hope state also does great things over there. But the trek where we have in Chhattisgarh, there's a Guru Gasias National Park. It's in the northern part of the Chhattisgarh, which is the Korea district. And never at times it had in sort of any history or any sort of thing about Naxals over there. And not just about Naxal, but anything, because you're going into one of the most rural region or very interior region of that state. And it's beautiful. It's not just beautiful, it's also completely safe with such lovely people over there. And after the trek, you will start thinking, why did I even get this, like this thought in my head कि ऐसा वहाँ पे होगा और मेरे को नहीं जाना, and you will thank yourself that goodness that I didn't go into those thoughts and I ignored and I came over here.
So I want to ask you last 2-3 questions that are coming to my mind now. Central India is known to be hot in general. So how do you tackle the heat in terms of when trekkers are going there? How do we manage the whole thing?
Heat is a very critical thing. In the Central India, it gets really hot over there. It catch some false fire as well in the summer months over there, and that also brings or limit us not to go on those particular time or not open the treks that particular time. But apart from those, the peak or the summer times in itself, spring and summer, the whole region is so magical with its climate. It's beautiful. If we talk about the weather wise, Central India receives a good rainfall. And like I told you, we also make sure at Indiahikes we design the treks such that all these things doesn't stop us enjoying the trek. And when we design the trek as well, earlier I told you, Chhattisgarh jungle trek comes under the Chota Nagpur plateau, which is all red soil. And typically if it rains, the soil doesn't seep the water in, and it gets very slushy and slippery at places. And that's the why, although it's very pleasant, beautiful monsoon, you should trek if that's the weather. But because of this limitation, what that region is, we don't have a treks in the monsoon time. And it's only post monsoon, which is October. We start running the treks when rain are gone, the skies are clear, warm, good, but nights again very pleasant to just be out in one fleece over that till the Jan February. And now coming to the Pench Mowgli trek, because again this trek doesn't have so much of clay soil that allows a lot of water to just flow in. And because the water is seeping in, a lot of undergrowth are there, grass are there over there, a lot of vegetation flourishes over there, a lot of flora, and that makes a very beautiful time for us to trek, the monsoon time. That's from, I would say, August, mid-July, from August, and goes. And here it like Himalayan treks, Dayara Bugyal or Surya Top could be a different in spring or autumn. Is the same with Pench Mowgli. It's very different in monsoon, autumn and winter when we actually do this trek. And coming to Odisha Debrigarh trek, again Odisha receives a lot of rainfall. It's not safe for us to do, and that again limits us only during the winters or early summers when we are doing. So we are precisely choosing what with the perfect weather window. And that's also one sad part, Swati, that we can't have Central Indian treks for a very long time in a year, and there's a very limited window. And that I would say for that trekkers need to plan and need to go, else they have to wait for 1 year.
I think I want to add over here for our trekkers that this is probably one of those few treks where absolutely anybody can go. Last year, Nitesh himself led a group for all our parents at Indiahikes. So I sent my mom and dad. A lot of us sent our parents, including an 80-year-old person who was on the trek, and they had a beautiful time on the Chhattisgarh jungle trek. All of them came back feeling so much lighter, so much younger. So one of those beautiful things about Central India is anybody can trek. It doesn't involve the complexities of a Himalayan trek. So thank you so much, Nitesh. I think you have thrown light on a part of India where it is not familiar to many trekkers. Trekking matlab, we know Western Ghats mein trekking hota hai, we know in the Himalayas, but Central India is still new, although we've been there since 2017. So thanks so much for shedding light on this. I'm very happy to have you on the show.
No, I'm so happy to, again, like I'm telling you, share this space with you. It's the very first time. And yes, and also to share like naturally whatever I feel for Central India trekking over there. And I do feel like you told, like it's not limited with fitness or age criteria. It opens a lot of bracket for people to go and trek. And even if people would have trekked in Himalayas in other countries, it's very different. They have not experienced what the Central India is. So I would be really happy if a lot of people go and experience that before they miss out on this trek.
So I guess that is Nitesh's message for everybody. Go and experience Central India if you haven't already. Going on a safari or going on a tourism package is very different from actually getting on your 2 feet and walking in those beautiful jungles. So I hope you get to experience that sometime. We'll be diving deeper into all of these treks and different conversations on this channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. If you have any questions about trekking in Central India, drop in a comment. We're always here to get back to you. You could even write to me personally on tws@indiahikes.com. And until next time, we'll be back with more. Thank you for joining us.